I'm 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗧, and I'm gonna teach you my top 5 beginner hula hoop tricks to learn around the waist. Now, I do feel that number 1 and number 2 are the most important for beginners to learn on this list, but all the things on this list are great to learn. So let's go ahead and get started with number 5. The first thing I want to look at on this list is being able to stick your arms and hands in and then pulling them out. So I want you to go ahead and try that. You might want to just try one hand first. So when that hoop spins around you and that hole sort of goes in front of you, you're just going to take your hand and you're just going to stick it in that hole and then quickly bring it out like that. So go ahead and practice that. And then once you get good with one hand, go ahead and then try it with the other hand like this. You're just going to stick it inside and then pull it out. And then you're eventually going to do this with both arms like this. Now, the reason why I am teaching you this and why it's ending up on this list is eventually something you might want to do is stick your arms inside the hoop like this, and then you can use your arms to get that hoop to travel up your body to your chest like this. And this is when it can get really fun, because then you can start doing some chest hula hooping and kind of start to get into some chest hula hoop dancing. So there it is, my number 5 trick. The number 4 waist hooping trick I want to get into is angled hula hooping, specifically spinning that hoop at sort of a downward angle like this. One way that you can get into that angle hula hoop position is as you're spinning that hoop around your waist, you can kind of just push your bottom up in the air, and every time that hoop spins around and it's kind of on your, your lower back like this, that's an opportunity to push your bottom up like this, and then you can kind of redirect the angle of the hula hoop. So I'm gonna start from the beginning here. So now I'm gonna go into that position and I'm kind of moving my bottom up like that, and notice the angle of the hoop is changing and it's kind of starting to almost go into a vertical position. Now, if you are struggling to get your hoop at that angle downward, something else you can try is if you sort of bend your body forward like this, you can just kind of start spinning your hoop already at that downward angle, just to get a little experience of what it's like to spin the hoop in this angled position. And if you're still struggling, you can go down to the comments section and let me know, and I might be able to help you. And that applies to all the tricks on this list. Go down to the comments section and ask me your questions. Moving right along to the 3rd waist hooping trick on my list, waist hooping reversal. So being able to reverse that hoop in the opposite direction. Also, a disclaimer for this video, if you have a really heavy hoop, like a weighted hoop, or your hoop is, gigantic, then, it might hurt if it hits your arm. So you might want to be careful doing this trick. A modified version that you can do is you can use your hands. So when that hoop is spinning around, you can just kind of grab the hoop with one hand and then push it back the other way, and then use your other hand and then push it back the other way like that. Now, going back to waist hooping reversals, the idea here is basically when you have the opportunity to stick your arm down, that's when you're gonna use the inside of your arm to hit the hoop in the opposite direction. So when I do that at full speed here, this is what this looks like. So boom, just kind of use the inside of my arm to hit it the opposite direction. And then once I'm spinning it in this direction, I'm gonna use my other arm to hit it back like that. Something I recommend when performing this trick is when you do make contact with your arm to hit that hoop in the opposite direction, I do recommend that you put your arm slightly out in front of you to hit that hoop versus behind your body. Because if you try to do that reversal, putting your arm back here, it may be more challenging. So I would recommend that when you make contact with that hoop, to reverse the hoop, to put your arm kind of more out in front of you and give that a try. Now, if you are still struggling with your reversals and, using the inside of your arm just isn't working out, something else you can try to do is using your hands. You can kind of slap that hoop with your hand in one direction and then use your other hand to slap it the other direction. And as you get better, I do recommend that you try to do your reversals quicker. Okay, so if you're able to do it like this, maybe this speed here, try to eventually get to this speed where you're just constantly reversing the hoop. Now, one of the reasons why these beginner reversals are so important to learn is once you're able to get that hoop up to your chest, then you can do all these different variations like this and just get really fast with the hoop, and it can be super fun. Now on to number 2 on my list, which is being able to move with your hoop. Yes, can you walk forward? Can you walk backwards? You know, can you also go side to side? Being able to move with your hoop is super important, especially if you want to take your hooping up to the next level and be able to hula hoop dance. Also, being able to throw in your hoop dance moves can make for a great hula hoop workout as well. Now, for the beginners out there that struggle to move while hula hooping around the waist, what I would recommend doing is, first of all, you have to see, you know, where you are at with your movement. Okay, so I would ask the question, are you able to walk? Okay, and if you struggle with your walking with the hoop, then what I would first just recommend doing is just, you know, take some baby steps. You know, maybe try 1 step, regain your balance right here. And once you've regained your balance, go ahead and take another step with the other leg. Okay, and then same for going backwards as well. You know, take maybe 1 or 2 steps, regain your balance, and then, you know, as you get better, add more steps. You can also apply that same technique of just kind of easing into it into other hula hoop movements, you know, such as going side to side. Also, I recommend practicing spinning with your hoop as well and doing this in both directions. Drum roll, please. Woo! It is now time to get to the number 1 on my list. Yes. Now, the number 1 on my list for beginners to do when spinning the hula hoop around the waist is to take everything on this list that I've already taught you and now apply flow to it. And what I mean by flow is I want you to find your groove, okay? And I want you to kind of smoothen out everything and kind of put it to a rhythm. And even to the people out there that are watching this that are thinking, wait a minute, that means I have to start dancing and, you know, maybe I'm not that great of a dancer or whatever, you know, who cares about that, okay? Because that doesn't really matter. My goal here is to help you find flow. So if you're like, I just cannot move on beat or rhythm, please keep watching this video because I want to help you. Here's the thing, it's one thing, you know, if you can just walk with your hoop, you know, also walk backwards, or maybe, you know, do these sort of side steps like this. But the next thing is, now can you do that on rhythm or on beat? So if I was to do, like, let's say a numbered sequence, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I would like you to do is maybe find some of your favorite music, maybe after this video, you know, find some of your favorite music, put that in the background, and I want you to just practice doing some movements on beat. Something else to think about when doing flow is what to do with your hands. I do recommend that you kind of just practice moving your hands. So maybe, you know, at first as a beginner, you might just want to keep the hoop around your waist and, you know, really just practice moving your arms and your hands in different locations without that hoop falling. And then, you know, after that, try to incorporate some movements, okay? So move your hands and then do some stepping, you know, like this. Maybe throw in a spin. So throw the spin in there. Okay, you know, and throw in some of the things that we learned. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm gonna do a reversal, boom. And you got that reversal in there. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna reverse it back. Okay, so kind of just take your baby steps into your flow. And really, I would say a key here is, especially for the dancers out there, is find your hula hoop dance. Okay, so imagine dancing, you know, something you might wanna do is just put your hoop down like that, okay? And now just practice your dancing, okay? Practice your dancing, I'm dancing, whoo, this is fun, okay? And imagine that your hula hoop is a dance partner, okay? You got your hoop, here's your dance partner, I'm gonna put this hoop on, and now I'm gonna find that connection, that lovely, beautiful, wonderful connection with my dance partner, this hula hoop I got spinning on my body right now. I'm just gonna listen to the hoop, you know, feel my body, move my arms. I'm not gonna try to do anything that's beyond something that I can't do, right? That's impossible. Try not to think, you know, let go of all your thoughts, just move your body. And if you can, also try to move your legs. You know, maybe exaggerate some hip movements, you know, get those hips swiveling around, you know, get those feet swiveling around as well. And yeah, just really have fun with it. I feel like, you know, teaching flow can be challenging, because I feel like I can only teach flow to a certain degree for you, when really I feel each individual has to find their own hula hoop flow. So as far as I can give you the skills to get there, you have to go the rest of the way to develop yourself into how you like to move with your hula hoop. I feel like hula hoop dance can be such an art, you know, this profoundly beautiful thing that one can tap into and just get so much out of. So if you really are struggling, you know, with that, go down to the comments section and let me know, ask me your questions. I don't care if you're super advanced at hula hooping, you're a professional or whatever, or if you just started hula hooping today and you are an absolute total beginner. That is totally okay. Right here, hula hooping around the waist, finding your flow, I feel like, you know, there's even stuff for the advanced hoopers that they can work on, even just, you know, with this waist hooping flow and just tapping in to all these new movements and things that you can do with your hoop and really just have fun and explore. And if you want to watch more hula hoop videos from me, I got a bunch on my channel. I'm 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗃, everybody. Until next time, enjoy.